Good day. I'm Richard Faust, your host today for Inside Cottonwood. Thank you for joining us. And with me today are Hez Allen, Recreation Services Supervisor for the City of Cottonwood and for the Parks and Recreation Department. And Hez is over almost all of the Recreation Center programs, as well as outdoor recreation, indoor recreation. You're the guy. You know,
yeah.
You're the man, the myth, the legend. And
thank goodness we have a fantastic team.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, and we felt that this morning a bit. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you for that, Ruth Allen. Ruth Allen Elinski is with us as well, and Ruth Allen is the Northern Arizona Director for Local First Arizona, and we'll be talking a little bit about Local First Arizona and what you guys do around Arizona and how you help so much throughout. I think this area which is tremendous. We're going to be talking about Walkin on Main today, and Walkin on Main is one of our signature series events that we have in Cottonwood, and which is really great because it's very special. And if you've ever been to one, it's a wonderful time. This year's event is Saturday, November 10th, and it'll be going on from 11 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock p.m. So, you know, get your calendars out, make sure that you identify Saturday, November 10th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come down to Old Town, because again, you're always in a special place when you go into Old Town, I believe. I don't know of too many places around the Arizona area that have a similar circumstance that we have as a gem like Old Town. And in the Old Town area, you're always, you have all of the incredible opportunities and the treats that come with it. It's the charming galleries, the eclectic shops that are down in Old Town, the eateries, some of the best restaurants in Northern Arizona, as far as I'm concerned, and I think a lot of you would probably agree. And then you can also go, and I think you can still visit, what is the site has? And we have a site for Walkin on Main that you can actually go onto. Is it WOM still?
azwom.com.
Okay, so azwom.com. And so check out this event program, because it's really a good one. You'll have a little bit more information as to the flyer, which you just saw also on your screen. The flyer basically will go over, you know, a lot of things that are transpiring and happening for that day with Historic 89A, the live music, the art shows, the car show, the wine tasting throughout the day, and it's all going to be in Old Town. So it will be a fun day. It's just going to be an incredible, you know, and what I really relish this time of year is we always have that that intermediate time period between what we would, I guess, deem winter time, but it's always that really cool time period where we cool off at nights, and we're seeing that right now. November is that wonderful time as well, and it kind of kicks us into the fall season. So at this point in time, I just want to, you know, let's talk a little bit about Walkin on Main, and give us a little bit of information. Where did the concept for Walkin on Main originate from, and whose idea was it and why?
You know, I think it was probably a collaborative idea. And Ruth Allen, along with Donna Chesler, were the three of us, I don't know how many years ago, actually.
10
years ago? Thanks
this
for knowing.
This is 10th annual this year. 10th annual Walkin on Main.
Interesting. It's dating
It's been that long.
It's dating
Few more wrinkles.
I know. Well, my head dates me, so. But that idea of creating something that it's reminiscent of what Cottonwood is, and is celebrating the history, but not only the history where we're going with the wine industry, and that great momentum that's happened with the wine industry. And so this is that opportunity for the public to come out and see great local music, local artists, statewide artists, you name it, nonprofit organizations, and enjoy that cool weather on a fall day.
Yeah. I think that that's the main thing. Sometimes it can be a little bit warm in the afternoon. Depends on November, and but other times
it's perfect weather every year.
Every year,
it's always
amazing.
Perfect.
Tell me about we had it snow that one year.
No, we didn't.
It did.
Really?
It was coming down. It was really great.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. That was the only time. Other than that, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So, but that was kind of cool, and everybody was still coming down. It was a little bit chilly, but the snow just came, and it was really kind of weird. And
it really hurt our shaved ice sales.
Yeah, it did. It was like for 10 minutes, so that was it.
Right.
So, what is the goal in providing such a program to the public? What is that?
Creating that sense of place.
Sense of place.
So you know that this is your community, and when people come into the community and visit, they feel like they're a part of that small town atmosphere. You know, I always say that Cottonwood has big town aspirations with a small town flair, and what this community provides for the size of the community that it is unparalleled. The leadership that we have in the past and going forward is amazing, and it's cool for people to come in and see that drive that's happening here.
Well,
it's a special feeling.
Yeah, and I like the aspect of you can walk down in Old Town and you see so many of the people that you know.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of our community leaders, and they're just right down there. They're having fun. They're enjoying themselves as well.
Right.
They love the music and the food and everything else, and the wine.
Yep.
So they're all down there as well. But you know, you can talk to just about anybody and see just about anybody. So talk to us also about the main streets in America. Why are they so special in the United States? Because we talk about the aspect of historic 89A.
Right. Well, as a history guy,
yes,
highways were brought up as a way to move troops around, and it was as a part of that, what was it, World War I or II process?
Yes.
World War II process.
Right.
As a result, it killed Main Street towns, because across America, there were Main Street towns. Route 66, well, 89 is our Main Street town, basically, or Route 66 in Arizona. Obviously there's the northern Route 66, but from north to south it was an Indian trade route that eventually became that synonymous street road that there was going to be little towns on, and with the blocks more like a European style, and as a result with the highways they kind of started to flounder a little bit, and so there's this reemergence with Local First and what's happening there of celebrating these local traditions and these downtown areas with shops that harken the history of the community.
That's great stuff too, especially the historic aspect of when we go down into Old Town, because you see the historic buildings all over the place, and historic homes all over. Have the historic home tour as well. So so all of that is historical.
Yeah, I was just going to throw in, I think the other kind of critical component there is that those Main Street districts are walkable.
Yes.
And a lot of communities grew in a way that made them not really that walkable, and you weren't able to access a lot of the services that you were looking for. And by bringing people back down to those Main Street districts, they realized that by having a walkable space, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
And that's something we're compounding on as well, even with the city of Cottonwood, and especially our staff. And Hez, you're definitely a proponent, and I know that Tim Elinski is, and Trevor Gottschalk, a lot of the different individuals, especially for hiking trails, and moving the trails throughout to where people can then interconnect and have the interconnectability throughout our communities, and especially our subdivisions areas and stuff for people to walk, bike, whatever they can do. So that's what we're trying to do too, is make access more available to everybody, and for Walkin' on Main type of a program makes it just perfect. So that's one of the things we definitely do. We get into art, and we talk about art, and especially with Walkin' on Main and every year, and so now we're in our 10th year, and we've got a lot of neat art that's coming down to the Walkin' on Main program. I know that when we also take a look at Movoto, it was one of the things that transpired in 2015 with a poll. It was a national real estate organization. What was that, Hez? They went through 10 of the most exciting places in Arizona, and I know that Cottonwood still is one of the most exciting places in Arizona, but tell us a little bit about that. What happened?
That was like our community's own little Rudy movie. Really, when you think about it, because we would this initiative of wine is really not that old, and not only wine. I think wine gets a lot of the play, but there's also some great people that have been a part of this. Eric Jerson, the business owners in Old Town, taking that leap, that initiative, when there really wasn't anything down there, and Old Town had gone through that down moment, that downtime, and everybody reinvesting into this community. So then, when this award came out, and they're comparing us to Flagstaff and these other great cities throughout the state of Arizona, and just to be on the list, not only on the list, but be able to compete with those titans was incredible. So, I mean, I think if we could all had t-shirts made, we would have. But not only that, but now what Vogue magazine voted us one of the top wine destinations outside of Napa Valley. And that's incredible.
That is incredible.
Yep.
I mean, my goodness, Vogue magazine.
Vogue magazine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's fantastic. Well, we're going to take a break right now from talking about Walkin on Main. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about the specifics, and especially with Ruth Allen, Elinski, as it basically pertains to Local First Arizona and what they actually do and what they accomplish throughout the state of Arizona. So come back here in just a moment. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. We'll be right back.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Thank you for joining us once again for Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. We're talking about Walkin on Main and being a signature series event, how special it is within a community that they have these types of programs, because what it does is it just basically reflects the community and what we have to offer for both our citizens as well as people who visit, especially throughout the Verde Valley as well, and through the northern Arizona area. And we get a lot of people that come up even from the Phoenix area, and probably some from Tucson to come up, especially this time of the year, so it's really kind of fun. It's a wonderful time, as Ruth Allen indicated as well. Out of the 10 years, we've had some really good ones. We had one year that snowed.
Yeah.
Ruth Allen Elinski.
Remind me that.
I know.
It's not going to snow.
Yeah.
I wanted to welcome you as well to joining us today. Ruth Allen, we discussed in the first segment of the show that you're the Northern Arizona Director for Local First Arizona. Tell us about what Local First Arizona is and its goals for the Northern Arizona area.
Well, we kind of have our tentacles in a lot of different programs and initiatives, but really we started as an organization celebrating independently owned businesses to build stronger, more thriving economies across the state. So we have a really large network of independently owned businesses, the largest in the country, actually, right here in Arizona.
Wow.
One more reason to be proud to
That's
live
right.
in Arizona. We're the largest independent business coalition, and growing. We're continuing to grow and expand, and really the work kind of comes down to building a network of those businesses to keep money circulating more locally.
I was going to ask you, how do you interact and how does that happen? You know, the relationship aspects of things with businesses.
Sure. I mean, a lot of it's just one-on-one contact and connecting with those businesses directly. And then we host events and partner with communities all the time to try to build those networks and let people know that we're here. A lot of people don't even realize that we've made our way into Northern Arizona and we're a resource here for small businesses across the state.
You're one of the individuals that are behind the scenes, so much so.
Sure.
And connecting up all of this, especially with business relationships. Now, so, is it fair to say that you know the pulse of the Verde Valley, and how do you feel about Walkin on Main? Because it seems pretty special to you as one of the individuals who actually, there was 3 or 4 of you that got it started.
Sure. That was like before my Local First Arizona time, but somehow we all kind of came together around this idea of bringing more attention to the Main Street District. So it was like a timing thing.
Okay.
But yeah, super glad to still be a part of the event every year, and certainly from the Local First perspective, it's a way to bring attention to the Main Street District and the businesses that are working to survive down in those kind of smaller communities. So it's one of those, I think, programs that's very transferable to other communities, and I've been telling other Northern Arizona communities about it because it's an easy well, I don't want to say too easy.
Right.
It's a great program to showcase your community, and it's definitely transferable. So other communities could benefit from doing something
exactly.
similar.
It's kind of a model, and they can easily model it, and you guys can show them how, because what it does is, again, it promotes your community and it brings people in, and that was one of the things we especially were looking at, especially for a fall event. And you guys did it. You just, you kind of hit a home run with this one, because it's really a fun event. There's a lot of people that are down there between 11 and 5, but not thousands. So it makes it really nice. And again, it's just kind of homespun. So I really enjoy that a lot. That's what's really great about it. And everywhere you're walking, there's music playing and stuff. So it's really cool.
Live music all day.
I agree. So Ruth Allen, you had a lot to do with the conception and development of the Walkin on Main, as we talked about from the very beginning stages. You felt that a program of this caliber would be central to both theme, brand, and mission statement of Cottonwood. Can you explain that a little bit more to our viewers about theme and brand and mission statement of Cottonwood?
Well, I mean, maybe Hez can speak to the city's kind of mission and vision there, but I think from my perspective, we're bringing together local artists and vendors, and we're bringing together local musical talent, and then of course the Verde Valley Wine Consortium hosts the wine tasting portion of the event, and then all of the businesses that are aligning Main Street. We're just really celebrating all that is our community. So we'll have community organizations there as well. So Friends of the Verde River will be there. The Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce will be there.
Great.
Local First Arizona, and some other great community partners. The Humane Society will be there. We have Pets Return Home, pet program. So it's just a fun way to celebrate our community and our culture.
Yeah, that heritage that we have. Hez,
and I have to speak to kind of the relationship that we have with Local First regarding this program and providing that vibrant community that we shoot for every day within city employees and this community. So we have a small staff. And so we wanted to be able to grow this program, and we had some support, great support from local sponsors saying we want more, we want this program to grow. But we are searching in ways on how we can do it within the confines of resources that we have, meaning staff and budget and everything else. And after a little begging, Ruth Allen said, all right, I'll consider this. And through Ruth Allen and Local First's network of all the businesses throughout Arizona, they've been able to do podcasts for us and blogs and you name it to help promote Walkin on Main throughout the entire state through all these tentacles and channels that we could have never financially been able to pay for, nor have the staff to facilitate all those channels. So big kudos to Local First.
Definitely so. Now you guys were also talking a little bit about a video, before we got started. What is that? Ruth Allen, I think you had identified that was for wine, the wine industry.
Sure. Well, there's actually a brand new tourism video that was put out by the Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce, and it highlights just the spectacular Verde Valley, really, and all that there is to do here. So
it is really good.
It's an incredible video, and we have it posted, I believe, on the Walkin on Main
and the homepage
site at this point, just because it's such a great representation of what we have here. And at the same time, I think Walkin on Main is one more way that we're showcasing all of those things, but you can come and see it live.
There you go.
And we're going to have between 35 and 40 vendors this year, which is more than double what we had last year. So in addition to those community partners, we're going to have lots of artists and merchandise vendors, and it's going to be a really fun day.
It will be.
Yeah.
Ruth Allen, tell us a little bit. I know that you were with First Saturday Jerome Art Walk. And can you tell us a little bit about that as well? I know that seeing that we're kind of, like you said, we're integral to different communities all the way around us. We're all kind of, Verde Valley is very special. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So actually, I had owned a small business in Jerome for about 3 years. And when I moved there, there was just a lot of energy, new galleries moving in, artists starting up, and I worked with Donna Chesler, who was a gallery owner up there at that time, to put together an art walk a monthly art walk to make Jerome more of an art destination rather than the kind of ghost town theme that it had previously. So the idea was really to kind of bring some new energy around the art scene in Jerome. So it's now gosh, and it's probably 12th year, 13th year maybe, and it's every second Saturday.
Yeah, it's always there.
I'm sorry, every first Saturday.
First Saturday?
First Saturday.
Okay. All right. Now, also you were awarded the Flagstaff Chamber of Commerce Athena Young Professional Award for 2012. You know, you recognize as First Things First champion for children in 2015. These are amazing accomplishments that you've been able to implement in Northern Arizona and throughout the state. So again, it shows your interest and expertise involving investment in youth for our future for Arizona. You know, what else is going on in that realm, you know, for you? What accomplishments?
I think Walkin on Main is a perfect example of a way to build pride in our community and to ensure our young people feel that same sense of pride for where they come from. I have 2 young children too, and I work every day to inspire them around our community, and hopefully, we all hope that they'll maybe go away, but come back and say, yeah, you know, I'm from Cottonwood. This is where I live. This is where I'm from, and I'm proud to call this home. And that's really part of the work that we're doing around Walkin on Main, and part of my work with Local First Arizona is creating that feeling here in Arizona. There's a lot of movement and people moving in from other communities that don't have that same sense of pride. So how do we connect those folks that are moving in to retire here? How do we connect them with this place and really get them to invest that same kind of time and energy back into the community?
Well, you do an awful lot of investment in the accomplishments and everything else. So again, congratulations with all of that. And again, you know, more power to you in the work that you accomplish and do. So we're going to take another break here. Thanks for joining us in our second segment, and we'll be back for our third segment here in just one moment. I'm Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. We're talking about Walkin on Main. We're in our final segment here. And Hez Allen, tell us a little bit as to, we discussed everything that's kind of going on. Who are our main sponsors for this program this year?
You know, definitely when Edward Jones is huge. And it's their local offices that support this program because they asked me never to do this, but I always do it, so then I apologize afterwards. But their tagline used to be from Wall Street to Main Street, and how perfect of a relationship that Walkin on Main is a Main Street program, so it worked out really well. And it allows them to be able to put their name or their stamp on something that they feel is so beneficial to the community and really surrounds that sense of place thought process. And then obviously Local First, huge partners. This isn't one of those programs where we try to fill the bill with as many sponsors as we can find. That's not the intent. It never has been the intent. It's about having that sense of feeling of place and about bringing people to the table that want to be at the table and then having a long, sustainable relationships. You know, really in a small community, if you don't have relationships, you're not successful. If we didn't have Local First,
that's right.
If we didn't have the Chamber of Commerce, if we didn't have, you name it, all the way down the line, we wouldn't be successful because none of us can stand on our own.
Why does, you know, I mean, I guess that's kind of the question that you answered, probably that one that I had is why does Edward Jones plan on getting more involved with WOM in the future? I mean, but again, I know that's kind of it's a symbiotic relationship in that respect, but they help us so much too.
Right. You know, I think their intent for getting more involved is just that feeling of feeling like they're involved with something that has such a great impact on the community. You know, when we have their tent over the front of house equipment and people are coming up and taking their pictures, and obviously it helps that their tent's there, but they're able to make those connections with people one-on-one. You know, small communities, and we tell sponsors this all the time, small communities are about trust. And unless you've built that trust, and that's the only way you have that trust is being built over time with one-on-one connections, you don't really have a pulse.
That's right, very true. Well, tell us now, we talk about the Wine Consortium as well. We'll bring this into a little bit more. You know, when did the Wine Consortium begin? And will the Verde Valley Wine Consortium host an outdoor wine tasting similar to last year's program with the Arizona-wide wineries?
Yeah, I remember it was like 2008, 2009, and we had this giant meeting at the Public Safety Building, and I was a newbie there, and I thought, what the heck, I'll attend this and see what's going on. I knew we were considering Walkin on Main, some different things, and everybody was at the table. Tom with Yavapai College, and his last name is Schumacher.
Yeah.
Casey Rooney was there, and a lot of great individuals. And it was, the energy in that room was incredible right from the get-go, and it just kicked off and started running. And we did focus groups at each table, and we had all these pamphlets about direction we want this to go. What that process birthed the Wine Consortium. And that Wine Consortium has kind of been that advocacy group for the wine industry. We talk about local first, and the Wine Consortium kind of in that same vein of supporting the little guy, because big business, they have their lobbyists, they have their advocates when it comes to legislation or anything along those lines. And this allowed the voice to occur for these local wineries. And especially when, you know, there's legislation coming down about changing the process, that if you're a winery, you have to have 5 acres of property or your own production plant, and the Wine Consortium's helping the wineries move through that process. It's huge.
So I guess this question, I think you can probably answer this. What makes the Verde Valley so pristine and perfect for producing wine? I mean, I guess that's kind of a question that everybody wants to know out there. Why is there, you know, such an area like this that people love to grow the vines, and how do they do it?
It's climate.
It's
and
climate.
The river.
Yes.
And the rocks. I mean, it's all of those things. And it's very diverse. So all of that kind of builds a different flavor to what they're producing, and then that makes it even more special because it's unlike anywhere else.
Right. Well, I know that when you know, talking with Page Springs and, you know, some of the things that happen out there. I mean, when you take a look at the area, it's very similar in a lot of respects to the Mediterranean area as well. And I know that I think with the precipitation and the rain, and when we gauge rain, it's very similar as well in the context of the time of the year that we get the precipitation and stuff. And then I think that all of that, in reality, like you said, the climate is just perfect for it. So now. How has the wine industry and the culture affected the local economy? You want to address that?
Yeah, you know, I think it's had a great impact. Especially, you can see that in Old Town with all the different wineries on the street. Tourism has created this industry the wineries have created this tourism industry that wasn't really in existence in Cottonwood. We were like the gas stop between Jerome and Sedona, and now that's allowed us to make a name for ourselves, which is another reason why we have Walkin on Main and all these programs to continue driving that traffic to a community that's supported by sales tax. There's no property tax. Yeah,
and I would just add too that I think the college has embraced this as a new industry as well, and their own, the Southwest Wine Center, which has kind of come in its own, where they have about 14 acres, I think, of planted vines.
Right, their viticulture program.
Yeah, the viticulture and enology program. So I think in addition to just driving tourism, we also we're kind of growing our own.
Yeah,
so now we have this great program that's bringing in younger people who are really interested in growing and this production around wine, and that's, I think, kind of creating this new industry of young folks coming in. And
I think so too. I think in what you were talking about earlier, Ruth Allen, is having our kids come back. I think a lot of them will probably have some experiences with different industries, especially from the Yavapai College area, having it there with the viticulture going outside. A lot of them I think will come back someday, because I think we'll see our expansive aspects of our wine culture here increase. So I think it'll be incredible as we start seeing that in the years to come.
It's also creating a lot of jobs.
It is.
Those
Definitely
wineries
is the
and wine tasting rooms are creating jobs that we just did not have before. So
I agree.
And I think the wine is the catalyst. And I think moving forward, I think the pulse is that we have this honey. We're always going to feed this honey pot. But now we need to start developing these other symbiotic relationships with industries and relationships with folks and businesses coming into the area to keep the ball moving. You know, we can't just rest on the wine industry and wave the flag and say, "Yay, we made it."
Right. So tell us now, as we look at this, we always basically talk about what's the music and what's the great, what's so great about the entertainment. Talk about that a bit, Hez.
You know, all of our programs, we've tried to vary the entertainment as far as flair and type and music style, and TVR is a very distinctive flavor. The farmers market does as well. Walkin on Main has always been that that local flair, and then also more of a jazz blues thing, which really pulls people out. It's fall.
It's different.
Having some
It
wine.
is different. I love
People
it.
are wearing their little top hats. It's kind of fun, and yeah.
And so it's got its own vibrancy in and of itself. So
we have 3 bands lined up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I was going to say. So
Do
what
you
are
remember?
those?
Yeah, that's why I brought the flyer.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Keith Oakey and Rebel Soul, they're at 11. The Van Reed Brothers at 1:30, and Big Nick and the Gila Monsters at 3:30. Big Nick and the Gila Monsters are part of the Arizona Blues
I think
Hall
it's
of Fame.
Gila.
It is. He comes from Ohio.
I still say quesadilla.
It's Gila.
It's Gila.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spelled Gila.
I know it is. It's great. I love it. Because if you were going to do it, I was going to do it.
I was gonna say,
Ruth.
come on, I gotta say.
Grab some Arizona here, Hez.
Are we being filmed right now?
Yes, we are. I love it. Well, okay. So when we look at the high school as well, talk about Mingus Union High School. What are they going to be doing down there?
Mingus Union High School does a fantastic sidewalk chalk art piece that's on the street. It's amazing because it's brought to life this little area, and then after the program, weeks after, people can see this piece of art that's on the street, reminiscent of Walkin on Main. It allows them to showcase the talent that our young people have in this area, which is fantastic. I don't know if you wanted to add something to that.
Mingus Union's actually represented in several ways. In addition
right.
to the chalk art, they're hosting a car show.
Oh,
so
right.
we're going to have about 90
That's right.
both classic and historic cars along Main Street.
Yeah.
And it's a benefit for the Auto Club, so that's exciting. And then they also do a welding. The welding program comes out, and you can purchase items from the welding.
Oh, great.
Program, which that's
and it's really high quality stuff.
Yeah.
The
It's
reviews,
high quality stuff.
Yeah, the reviews have been just incredible. So they're represented in a lot of ways, and again, another way to kind of connect youth to the event and get them to celebrate what's going on.
And that's pretty much it as we wrap this up. That it's going to be an incredible day. It always is. And Walkin on Main. So again, make sure that you have it on your calendars for November 10th from 11 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And it'll be just awesome. You'll see us down there. We'll have fun too. But if you have any other questions, you can basically contact the Recreation Center, get hold of Hez, or you can get a hold of anybody you want. Talk with Ruth Allen as she's walking along in the mornings. Main Street.
Yep.
So I just wanted to identify that as well. It will be a lot of fun, so come on out and enjoy your time period, especially in November in the fall season at Cottonwood and the Verde Valley. With that, we're going to go ahead and close this session. Thank you very much for joining us for Inside Cottonwood today. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. Have a great day.